All right, fantasy fellas. Aaron's up first. Real quick, I'm going to explain just a couple of other things that I'm doing. I'm doing your best pick. I'm going to do what I thought was your worst pick. I'm going to give you your record, seed, and if I think you're a playoff team, and then what seed that I think that you're going to be. So we'll kick it off with Aaron. So I'm just going to go down the list here. I ranked his quarterback, which is Cam Newton. I ranked him 12. I think that's fair. I think Aaron would probably agree with that. And this is only on your draft. I know I say this every year, but this is draft only. Anything that's happened since the draft doesn't matter, and I did not take into account. So I know he picked up Jay Cutler, but it doesn't matter. So Cam Newton is ranked number 12. He's ranked number 12 for a reason. He lost Kelvin Benjamin, and he didn't have a great year last year. I think he is going to run more this year, of course, but he's also going to pass less, or at least he's not going to have the yards that he had last year. Last year, I think Benjamin had 10 touchdowns and 1,009 yards, something like that. I don't think Devin Funchess has the speed that Benjamin has. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's accurate. And so I don't know where those extra yards are going to come from. I think Newton takes probably a good 400 or 500 yards less passing. His rushing will be a little bit more, but I don't see. I think he had 23 overall touchdowns last year. I don't see how he's going to make up for that loss with Benjamin, and how he's going to get better. So I think 12 is a pretty fair ranking, and that brings Aaron's team down a little bit. So now his running back core consists of Le'Veon Bell. Obviously, he's missing the first 2 games. Jonathan Stewart and Andre Ellington. Those are his starters. And so these ranks are just going to be your starters for now. I'll do your full team later. So I gave his running back core a 6th overall. So that's not bad at all. And he's got Doug Martin he can plug in there for week 1, or Duke Johnson. I'm going to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Duke Johnson, if I'm being honest with you. And then he's also got Taliaferro. It just adds a little bit more depth in there. So sorry, I'm watching the Royals game. So that's his running backs. Receivers, he has A.J. Green and Alshon Jeffrey. Basically the same player, I feel like, and I think both of those guys are phenomenal. So well done there. I have his receiver core ranked 2nd with those 2 guys, and then as his backups he has Landry, Jarvis Landry, Mike Wallace, and then Roddy White. So those are the backup receivers. And then his tight end, I have him ranked 7th overall, which is Dwayne Allen. I think Dwayne Allen is really good. I think if something happened to Fleener, Allen would be a top 4 tight end. Maybe he may even compete with Travis Kelce, but they have 2 tight ends. They run 2 tight end sets. And so Fleener, he just hurts Allen's productivity overall. So those are his actual rankings. So now let me get to the grades. You know what? Before I get to the grades, I'm going to do some other stuff first. So his best pick. I thought his best overall pick, now not his best player, but his best pick, I felt was Jarvis Landry. I'll have to turn on my phone on to see where he got Landry. He got Landry in the 8th round. And that's, I think, a guy that's going to catch 100 balls in the 8th round. I see him exactly the same way that I saw Wes Welker. I see him the same way as Julian Edelman. So I think that's a pretty strong 8th round pick. And personally, I think Miami is going to be the biggest surprise team in the AFC. I think that offense is going to be dynamite. I think that they're really going to take a big step forward. I think they are going to win that division. So, because they also have a decent defense, and Landry's a big part of that. I know they have Devontae Parker as well. They've got Kenny Stills, so Tannehill is going to have a big year. But the guy that will catch the most balls by far, I think, is going to be Jarvis Landry. I love that pick. His worst pick is obvious. I won't go into detail. I've already done that. Cam Newton, and Aaron probably knows that. So for his starters, the guys that he's going to be starting is Cam Newton, Le'Veon Bell, Jonathan Stewart, Andre Ellington, A.J. Green, Alshon Jeffrey, and Dwayne Allen. I assume those are going to be the starters. I went on everyone's team, and I saw who you have plugged in there. Some guys like Ron kind of, I don't know why, but switches that stuff around, which is fine. But I just have to assume who you're starting, and that's my assumption. So, which is a very good team. I think if you if you got a better quarterback, I'd have a much better grade. That quarterback, it does count for more, so it is going to weigh you down a little bit. But still, you know, Le'Veon Bell, #1 running back, A.J. Green, very highly rated receiver. Let me see if I can find it real quick where I ranked A.J. Green. I ranked A.J. Green 6th overall. I ranked Alshon Jeffrey 9th overall. So those are excellent receivers. I love those options. And then so it's for his starters, his grade is a B-, which is really good. So, you know, just that quarterback, you know, I don't know if he's got a trade in the works or what, but that could hurt you. His overall team, including his bench, like I said, I love his bench. Doug Martin, he is in the top 5 players of guys I have no idea what they're going to do. The #1 player I would say would be Jonathan Randall, Joseph Randall, I'm sorry, from Dallas. He could be a top 5 guy. He could, you know, be a Trent Richardson. I don't know. That's how I see Doug Martin, because he does seem to have big preseasons, and then when the season comes, he kind of fades and doesn't do a whole lot. So, but he does have him on his team. He could bounce back. He's got Duke Johnson. Admittedly, once again, I don't know much about Duke Johnson. I don't know how big he is. I think I read that he catches the ball well, but I don't know what to expect from him either. And Taliaferro. And I'll talk more about Forsett when I get to Dave's team, but for now I'll say I like Taliaferro if he does win that backup job. They've got Buck Allen in there as well, who is pretty good. So then I've talked about Landry ad nauseum. Mike Wallace, I've seen projections of 10 touchdowns from Mike Wallace, which I think would be excellent, obviously. And Teddy Bridgewater, I think, is going to step up, and it's going to be one more year of development for him. Then he's got Roddy White. I don't think much of Roddy White at all. And then I don't think there is a backup tight end. So that's his full team. That's a pretty strong bench. As far as benches go, you're going to take flyers on guys, and you're not going to love everyone. So I like that bench a lot. So for Aaron's overall grade, I gave him a B, which is a nice, solid team. Once again, that quarterback brings it down a little bit. So for his record, I have his record as a 7-6, which is I think that is a playoff team, and I think he's going to be seeded #6. The strengths of his team, it's going to be his running back receiver balance, which is excellent. You know, that's 5 real strong guys that he's got in there. Once again, Le'Veon Bell, Jonathan Stewart, Andre Ellington. Stewart and Ellington are a bit of a question mark, but if I had to guess if they're going to have good years or not good years, I think those are going to be good players. So I like those guys a lot. A.J. Green and Alshon Jeffrey, I mean, those 5 guys, you know, that's as balanced as you get for running backs and receivers. So you can only take so many guys per round. So that's a good job turning that into a good team. And then weakness, once again, obviously quarterback. So that's Aaron's grade. It's a B. That's a nice solid team. So a nice draft by Aaron. Next will be Stevie. And real quick, guys, I have to cut these up because YouTube only allows you, you only have so much time per video, so I have to do a video for every person, so that's why I'm doing it that way. Okay, on to Stevie.